Alrighty, welcome back. We got the frame all sandblasted. We got it looking good. It was a nice day outside yesterday. The wind was blowing pretty hard. Wind was blowing pretty hard. We apologize about the sound at the end of the video. It was just a misfunction of what we were doing. Anyways, I don't think we need to get into that, but this is what it looks like sandblasted. We got the front end pieces sandblasted. There's some more welding we have to do on that. The control arm, all this perforated metal has to be welded on the control arm. On this side too, I want a piece of round stock on this edge here so it's not sharp. Jolene looked at the front brakes this morning. She says, wow, the drums broke. Well, we're not going to use the drums. We got all brand new brakes. It was given to us by a friend named John. He gave us all new disc brakes for the front, 4 piston calipers, all new flex lines. Just give us all new brakes for the whole front end of this car. So very happy with that. All this stuff will have to be, still has to be welded. Also, when we weld it, and then we were going to fill it so it makes it look right. I made these low upper control arms. I made the hats. I made the lower control arms. It's quite something actually now you get thinking about it. Every piece on the car I have made. I've not only made the car, but I've made the chassis. But now I got the rear end sandblasted. This is not finished being welded. I got to turn it over. I can get on this side and weld this side of the brackets up now. So there's some work I got to do there. Weld this side up and flip underneath and do a little more welding underneath here. We found out the gear ratio, 350s right there on the rear end. That's good. I'm taking it. That's what it is. That's what the gears are, 350s. That should be a good gear for Jolene to pull nice and cruise nice. But as you look at the chassis, if you come up, if you can get up on it close, sweetheart, it has got some pitting on it, and it's allowed. It's I think it's a 30s chassis. It's got some pitting on it. We would not want to just grind that off, or grind the chassis off like this. I don't want to grind the welds off like that and just paint it. It doesn't look good. If you come this way, can you come this way, sweetheart? I don't know if I got a light or not. Do I got a light in? I'll get a light for a second. I'll just show you what we have. Got a trouble light right there. I just want to show you what happens. So if you're we're obviously in old cars. If you're watching us build this Bugatti, we're into old cars. This is what it looks like when you paint a chassis when it has pits in it. See, that's what it looks like right there. Can you see the pits in that? That has pits in it. Mm-hmm. It does not look attractive. Does not look attractive. And this is what I'm going to say. Any car that's been driven, many years, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, sometimes it happens that it gets pits in it. It's just from, if something's 60 years old and has been outside all of its life, which probably that chassis has been, it does pit. It does get a little rust on it, but we've sandblasted it all off. And I don't want to paint that and think that's going to look good, because it's not going to look good. So what's going to happen is the whole entire chassis is going to be covered in filler. Basically, that's how we're going to do it. This is what I want to show you. We just bring it up for a reference, just for a reference. We'll bring it up here if you want to bring it up, sweetheart. This car right here, it's an amazing car. We sold it at the Peterson Museum. It's a lowrider car. The chassis in that was painted the same color as the car, as the body. So if that car had any pitting, which it probably did, it's an old car, any unsmooth spots or where it was welded, that chassis would have been welded together like this. I'll show you again. Most chassis get welded together. You can see where where that's riveted right there, and it's welded together in certain places. Rivet on that side. And you can see down here, baby. You can see along down there where it's welded together, right along that chassis. In order to make that chassis look like the way they're making them look, the lowrider guys, you would have to weld that all up, grind that all off, and fill that car from head to toe. And you can see the paint that they're putting on there. When they're painting them, they also are buffing them just like the top of the car. They're amazing amounts of work, And I know this because I know what it takes to get it there. And some of the chassis in them cars are more work than some people put on their whole car. It's the truth, and that's why it's a family heirloom. There's so much work involved in something like that. But anyways, as we have Jolene's chassis like this, I would never dare paint it the way it is. The whole thing has to be filled to make it look presentable, and presentable means smooth. We want it to look smooth. Basically, we're not going to see a whole bunch of the chassis in the car. But if anybody ever wants to get down and take a look at it, I don't want to see paint that's got pits in it. Even if I did paint it shiny, it still would not look good. The pits would take away from the sheen. So that basically I'm going to show you what has to happen. I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to let Jolene do a little bit. And then Zach was saying that he wanted to learn how to sand and take off body fill and that sort of stuff. Have I got the project for Zach? But we're all going to take our chance at it. There's weld that has to be ground down. Yes, there is. But basically what I want to do is I want to get some filler put on the chassis so we can get started at sanding as I'm doing some grinding. As you come back and take a look at the rear end, if there's any places in the rear end that look bad, like take the lowrider guys again. I use them because their cars look so fantastic. And the reason they look so fantastic is because the amount of work they put into them. So you take the pumpkin. We got some pitting on the pumpkin on this car. There's some pitting where it was rusty. I blasted it all off. You would have to fill that to make that look excellent. You'd have to fill the pumpkin of the rear end to make it look fantastic. That's what has to be done. So anything that you see, if you see a chassis that's all smooth and all shiny that looks perfect, you have to go to your brain and figure out how it's been done. It's not because the chassis was perfect. It's because someone took a bunch of time and filled that chassis out. Also, if you buy a new chassis, that's different. There's no pitting going on. It's brand new. But there still would be places that you would probably fill out to make it look right. You would prime it, sand it, and get all that scratches or anything out of it. So if you want a nice chassis, and if it has any pits in it at all, you have to fill it out to make it look right. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And we're going to put fill on the whole entire chassis. I'm not going to dummy it up or anything, but what I want to do is I want to put enough mud on it that I have enough product to work with to make it look right. And that's what it takes. It takes time and product. And I'm not going to go too hard on too heavy on the hardener, but I'm going to mix them up. And we are going to cover the chassis to make it look the best it can. Also, when you paint your chassis, it's not the top that's going to look the best, it's the bottom, right? It's kind of, we're all looking at it on the top side. Well, the top side is going to be covered by the car. So, it's not the top side that has to be good, it's the bottom side. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start down here. If you have to picture it or not, the whole chassis has to be covered with filler to get all the pits out of it. I'm going to do the lip first, and then I'll do the other side, show you what I mean. So this should give everybody new respect for lowriders. This should give everybody new respect just because of the amount of time and labor it would take to make their chassis look the way they do. To me, I feel like them cars are priceless because the amount of labor that's put into them. I'm going to go right over the hole because we'll see it on the other side. On the other side. Now, I'm just not going to leave it all on like that. I'm just going to take my finger quickly and rub over top of it so I can get it in there nice. I'm giving you the secret to the caramel bar. If you see a chassis that's all smooth and well done, you know what's happened. It's been filled out. So basically just keep going like that, and we'll have to do the whole thing. You probably won't even see that lip. I was thinking about riveting that lip, and the reason I was going to rivet it, and what I mean by rivet it, Jolene's car's got rivets all in the seam of the fenders. There's rivets in all the whole seam of that, and they're visible rivets. Just like in the car here, they're visible. What I plan on doing is I learned, there was a show called The Guild. They built a Bugatti for somebody, and what I learned was when they put their rivets in, they had the rivets in when they were doing the body work. The rivets were made out of aluminum, and when they were sanding it and doing the work to it, they obviously made some that were out of shape, because sandpaper will sand aluminum very easy. Got them out of shape. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that all the body work is done in the primer. Then we'll put the rivets in so we don't get for one thing, we don't hit our fingers on it from sanding it. And also, we don't take them out of shape. They'll all be the same shape. They'll all be right when they're in there. I learned that from them, just watching them. And I learned myself. I had the rivets in before. Jammed my fingers up a couple times. I said, nope, not doing that no more. So I took them all out. And I'm going to wait till all the body work is done, and then we'll put them in. But what I was thinking is we have a nice lip that goes on the chassis, and I was going to rivet that all the way along there. We were at the Peterson Museum. I think it was the exact same time we seen the lowrider. Mullen, what's his first name?
Peter Mullen.
Peter Mullins. He had a Bugatti there done by a bunch of students, and it was in aluminum, whatever. It was there, and their chassis had a bunch of rivets in it. It looked so nice. I was going to take it, but I really don't feel it's necessary on this, because I'd like to finish the car sometime soon. I don't want to be 50 years building this. We are going probably, I'm not going to say we're going where I thought we'd be going, but as I get going, I'm starting to learn all the things that I'm making. All the things that I'm making takes time. You know, I can't make a steering, all the front end stuff. I didn't buy anything for this car. We have not got a bunch of money in this car. What we've got is a bunch of labor and time and thought. And it's for Jolene, so I don't mind putting in the time or the thought. That just shows that I got a spot there. My cover at. And I heard it all. Just going to take and go my finger on there. Now, on the back of the chassis here, I have made it so it goes up in the air, or cut like a C channel here. I've made a C channel, and the C channel is for the rear end to go up inside for the air ride. You can see where I cut it out there. There's weld all on there. I'm going to put filler on it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it look so you can't tell. And that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. The nicer I put it on, the easier to be able to be sanded off and completed. But we do not want to see any weld marks. Also, when you see the nice choppers, you see a nice chopper. Someone has changed the neck on the chopper and made the frame look beautiful. Well, how they done that was they ground it and filled it out, just like I'm doing. Ground it and filled it out, just like I'm doing. So they've ground the weld and put filler on top of it. Basically, that's how it goes. We might we might drill a couple plugs in it, maybe on the top side, and we can put a little crown rust check inside the chassis. That stuff climbs very well. I had a couple plates I put in there on the table, and they're there. And there's a great big spot like that where the crown rust check is now. You notice that, sweetheart?
No.
I put some crown rust check on some plates. Got some old plates given to me. I just stuck them there. You can see they're just, they put some. Now look at what the table looks like. Oh, wow. I did not put that on that table. Did not do that. But that crown rust check, that's what it done. That's how it tells you if it works or not. If you're paying attention, like to things, I pay attention. Well, how'd that table get all wet? Well, I've noticed that crown rust check was there, and that's what it does. So when you spray, so if I maybe put a little hole in the top of this thing, and I put a little crown rust check inside of it, it's going to climb all inside that chassis is what it's telling me. So I'm happy with what's going on. I had a little pinhole back there. Not going there, not going with pinholes. If I get any pinholes, I'm just going to go with it. I could burn it up with a welder, but there's no sense. Nothing's getting inside, nothing's undoing it. I'm just going to keep going because the chassis is fine. But what has to happen is you got to keep on going. And if you want a beautiful chassis, well, I got Jolene, but if you want a beautiful chassis, you have to, put in the work. Even if you have a nice chassis and it's welded along the top, it doesn't look that good. Sometimes the factory welds, it doesn't look that good. You can take my word for it, or you can take a chassis and look for yourself. If you want to make it look real good, you'd have to weld that up, put some filler on it, and prime it, sand it, and then paint it. Basically. Making small batches, and the reason I'm making small batches is because I'm covering small areas, and if I get a big batch going, it's harder to get a lot of filler on in a small area in a small amount of time, or small amount of time, or small area, small amount of time. So that's why I'm making small batches, and then I have to go right to the front, to the back, all the way. Each and every piece. So we know what Jolene can sand on the chassis. Zach can sand on the chassis. I can sand on the chassis. You can see how it would become a family thing on a lowrider. You can see how it become a family thing where you would be. I'm just going through it my own brain as I'm talking. You can see how it would be a family thing building a car, because everybody would be putting in their fair share of labor, no doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? Because there's work there. I mean, let's face it. You'd have to sand the whole chassis, so it'd be better if the family helped. You know what I'm saying? If everybody threw in a hand, the quicker it would go. That's for sure. Want to get some more filler down there, right? I was on the internet. I go on the internet when I go to bed at night. I jump on there on Facebook and go on the internet sometimes and look around. Obviously, I like car pictures. Basically, what I put likes on is car pictures. That's what I do. But like car pictures, and cars that I like, or the things that people are building or doing. I give them a like because hey, they're into building cars just like I am. But it really frustrates me when someone gets on there and downs somebody's work and downs somebody else's work. This person shouldn't do this or shouldn't have done this or he shouldn't have a job or whatever. It's basically people that have no idea what was going on, like whether someone paid $20 for it, or if they were just doing it to get their ride going, just to fix the ride up to get it going. And and that person will down that person, but yet doesn't come back on and show how he fixed it. It's funny how that happens, you know. You can get on there and down somebody else, but you would never post how you fix it or how much filler you put into it. You know, that person has to do the exact same thing that that person done to fix the job, but yet goes on the internet and downs them. Like, it's just whatever. I guess that's what the internet's all about, making yourself feel good on someone else's cause, you know. You should never down somebody else's work. You don't know what was going on. What was the process? Most of old cars were fixed up to get back on the road. I've gobbed up so many old cars to get back on the road. There's one there where it shows a bunch of holes in the quarter panel, and Buddy's just putting body fill into it. Well, you'd have to not think at all to down that person. That person's just trying to fill the holes in the back of his car so he can get it past inspection. He's not saying he's doing a major restoration. He's fixing his car to get it back on the road. He's filling it full of mud to put it back on the road. The guy probably never had a welder, probably never had anything, but he wanted to fix it. And how can you down somebody for wanting to fix something? Like, it's, you know, it's been posted on the page a couple times, and for me, I think, wow, he's fixing it. You know, he's going to put some mud in it. He's going to fix it, which is okay with me. Go ahead if that's what has to happen to get you where you need to go. How can we down that? How can we down that? Just because it's not your way doesn't mean that it's not making him happy. Like, you really have to, you know, this is a game of fixing old cars. And it's not necessary to down somebody else for something they do not have or do not need or whatever. That man probably need to fix the holes in that side of that car. There are so many people that have a car that have something going on that has a problem. If they just knew how to mix up a little bit of fiberglass and clean that metal up and shove that fiberglass in there and then get a little bit of filler on it, smooth it out and put some primer on to get past inspection to make it look a little better. How do we hold that against them? How do you hold that against that person? I say, congratulations. You have fixed your own car. That's what I say. Congratulations, you have fixed your own car. If you want to pretend that you're the best in the world and you have to down somebody else to do it, you're not the best. You're not the best. People that are good at something don't have to down somebody else. Not even close. They haven't got time to down somebody else. So if people want to make fun of other people, what they've done on their car or how they're doing it, should tell you right away, that person don't know either. So I just feel it's unnecessary to pull someone down if you're the best. And you must think you're the best if you're pulling someone else down. And it stops people from working on their cars. And that's not what it's about. It's about doing the best you can with what you have to make yourself happy. And I don't know why there are people out there that need to tell everybody how to do it and how not to do it when it's a game. Like, you can do any way you want to. Any way you want to. And that's basically what I'm trying to, you know, I do every day here. I'm not doing it like, I'm not wheeling things up and making the body absolutely the best it can and making sure I grind all the weld off and welding it up 3 or 4 times. And I'm not doing that, not even close. I am welding it up the best I can. I'm putting bondo on it, and I'm smoothing it off the best I can, because that's what I have been shown, and that's what I do, and that's what it is. I'm not that guy that wants to spend. I don't want to spend days and hours and mega time on something that, you know, I don't feel is necessary. And for someone to think that I have to is totally wrong. I do it to make myself happy. And that's what everybody should be doing. Make yourself happy. Do what you need to do. My brain is telling me, this is what my brain tells me, is to build as many cars as possible. And it makes me happy to do that, because I really want to keep building cars until the end of time, till the old man says that's enough. I want to keep building cars. I don't want to have one nice car that I've spent my life on. I want to build a whole bunch. So I've chosen this way: weld them up, grind them off, and fill it out. And that's what I do. And for someone to knock it, or knock somebody else for just doing something that's not for them, shame on you. Go to work, build your own car. Show everybody else how it's done. Go to work, show how to do it. That's what I tell you. If you're going to go on there on the internet and knock somebody else and say they shouldn't be doing body work, they shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing, well, get on and show them how to do it. It's a wide open process. Get a camera, get a phone, and show everybody how to do it. And I'm hoping the guy that, come on, this guy shouldn't be doing body work, I hope he gets on there and shows how he fixes it and has no body fill in it. I hope he gets on there and shows that. Show us how you do it. It's not fair to knock somebody else and not show what you're doing or how you done it or what kind of money you spent. That guy that fixed that car probably spent no money, fixed it, made somebody happy, but yet you want to go on there and say they shouldn't do the work. Shame on you. Preach it, baby. Preach it, what? Well, it just makes me ugly when people do that. Don't go on there and knock somebody else. Show us how it's done. Show us how it's done. I started this game with nothing. No money, no tools, a grinder, a welder, and some will and some want. And that's basically it. And what I'm saying is you can too. And for the people that knock other people for not doing it as good as they do it, or think they do it not doing as good as they do it, shame on you. Show us how you fix it, how you do it. Show us. That's what I want to show us. So next time anybody wants to get on the internet and say, well, this guy shouldn't do body work or this guy shouldn't do this, well, show us how you do it. Show us your work. Show us how you fixed it. And tell us why you fixed it that way and how much money it cost you. To knock somebody else is a sign of weakness. In my books. And no thought. What it cost, what it took, what they were doing it for. Were they doing it for to get on the road? Or were they doing it to be the best bodyman in the world? Come on. do you think of that? Just keep mixing her and keep putting her on. Basically what I'm going to do. And when you're in this business, now I know because I'm in this business. I've done bodywork for quite a while now. And when you're working for somebody that wants it done as fast as possible, as cheap as possible, sometimes you do what you have to do to get it done. You know, and you say, well, you can say, well, I don't do it that way. Well, do you want work or do you want to starve? You know what I mean? You have to do what you got to do to get it done. Not everybody has clients that have mega amounts of money and don't care how long you take. That isn't the way it works sometimes. Generally, anybody I've ever worked for, it matters how long it takes, how much money it costs, and do the best job you can. And I think if you ask 90% of the people out there that run shops, it's the same way. How fast can you do it? How much money is it going to cost? And when's it going to be done? And Jolene's, you know, she'd like to have her car. I know she would. But she has to understand that we got lots of work to do to it. She understands anyways. Jolene's on my side. Jolene's on my side. Boys, she's on my side. And I love her for it. She puts trust in me. Sometimes there's comments on there that, you know, she asks questions, you know, should we have done it this way or should we have done it this way? This, you know, and I have to answer them questions, or I feel like I should, because, you know, we're building this car for her, and it matters. Her car. She has thoughts and opinions just like anybody else. She has a belly button is what I'm trying to say. Everybody has a belly button. What I mean by that is an opinion. But this is what we're going to do to make this chassis look nice. And I'm thinking that she's going to be very happy in the end. So this process right here would give you, I think it would give anybody a great amount of respect for lowriders. It does me. As I'm filling this out, I'm thinking about it. It's like, wow. You know, fill out everything and make it look super duper. And that's what has to happen to get that paint on there like they have it, smooth and shiny and all different colors. Imagine how many times that thing has to be masked up, and wow. Mega hours. And I didn't quite realize how many hours I was going to put in on this car, but there's going to be a few. I never thought for 1 minute when I said I'm going to build you a car, Jolene, that I was going to do it perfect. Never thought for 1 minute, like, you know, I was going to say I'm going to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. You know, I've welded it up the best I could, as fast as I could, and mudded the whole thing out the best I could. And that's basically what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. I'll put some more on. Then you want to put some on, Jolene? Try it? Mm-hmm. Jolene's going to put some on and try it. We're going to make it a family thing. We're going to turn this thing into a lowrider. Are you ever going to sell this car?
No.
She's not going to sell this car, boys. Never going to sell this car. Good on her. I hope not anyways. I don't want to sell it. No. No. No sale. Awesome. Buy for $1 million for it. You sell it?
No.
Awesome. Good answer. Good answer. I just stopped mixing the body fill right there. Over. Just want to put a little bit right here. We'll come back and undo the side after. I'm just going to go up this far. I got a lot of grinding to do up front, so I'm just going to go here for now. I'll go on this side, put some on. I think this was a Chevy frame because it's got the top hat look to it. What I mean by top hat, it's got this part, then it's got a flare out on each side. It's a Chevy frame. And it was a junker. It was a junker. And when it come time to make the Bugatti, it was there, and I used it. Like I do everything. As you notice, most of our cars are made out of junkers. And I like it that way. The reason I like it that way, because you're not really paying anything for it to start. That's a big thing. How much are you paying for your car when you start? You know, I'm not paying anything for it. It's a good start because it's more or less dead. Because if it's dead, it's over for it. And I like to bring that stuff back alive. And I like. I like the adventure of it, to build it back up to what it can be. It's one thing to take a $10,000 car and then restore it. That's not me. I would never restore a $10,000 car. Never, never, never. I would never spend $10,000 to spend more money on it. Nope. I'd spend $1,000 or $1,500 to get something that I never had, to go over it, to spend that much money and then redo it. I'd rather start from nothing and then redo it and then see what I have. I find there's more value in starting from nothing than there is from spending a bunch of money. And it's fun to make whatever I want. That's the fun part about it. We have some cars down there that no one else has in the world. And the reason being is we started with nothing and we used what we had to make what we wanted. And they're all welded up just as best I could. And we got fill on every one of them, just as much as they needed to get where I was going. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it. And I guess another thing too, I've sort of been, I've worked doing body work for a few years, quite a few years now. And what I can say is the 2 years that we done TV has changed me lots. And the reason I can say that is because I can allow someone to work on the cars now and not be so uptight. When we first started TV, I was so uptight because things weren't being done exactly how I wanted them done or how I'm used to getting them done. And it really took me a bit to realize that that does not matter. What matters is that we got the job done. If I stop and say for a minute, all the cars that we built, we had a timeline of 35 days, and we got them done, and I was more satisfied with that we got them done than we didn't. And what I'm finding, what it taught me is that getting the job done is more satisfying than anything. Getting the job done. So basically I work the way I work because I got used to building the cars so fast. You know, I sort of got in that program where, you try to build them as fast as you can. And that's why I lay on the floor with a couple grinders and the welder right beside me, and I don't get up. I use the plasma cutter. You ask yourself, how would you build a car in 35 days from like this? How would you build your car in 35 days if I was getting up and going to the bench and using all the different tools? Would not be done. Would not be done. You'd still be on the first one. And that's what it takes. If you want to do what we did for TV, if you want to be Bad Chad, you're going to have to take your brain and say, wow, can my shop build a car in 35 days? Do we know where even to start? In the budget that we had, could I even buy the stuff that I needed to build a car? And when we were all done, I was so proud of what went on. And the reason being is because we built the cars in the amount of time that we were given and the budget that we were given. We were able to do it. And if you can ask yourself, ask your shop that you work at, could we build a car? Could 5 of us, 5 professionals, build a car in 35 days from frame up to everything without buying much, just out of junk? Could you do it? You have to ask yourself. And when I ask myself, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And that makes me proud that we did that. And that's basically why I'm at where I'm at, on my hands and knees all the time, just going for it, because that's what I did. That's what made us who we are. And if you want to become somebody in this bodywork business, put your head down, go to work. Once you get that first car built, build another one. And once you get that one done, build another one. And once you get that one done, build another one. And once you get that one done, build another one. And keep your head down and keep working. Keep working. You know, it's pretty hard to build one car and say, I'm good. Oh, yeah, okay. You built one car. Well done. Well done. But if you want to become somebody, put your head down, build another one. Once you get that one done, build another one. And remind yourself of that. Build another one. I can't stop now. Can I, baby? I can't stop now. I guess this is Saturday church ceremony, is it not? I don't know what to say. I was saying to Jolene earlier that this is going to be hard to make a video of just filling the frame out, but man, I got lots to say. It's a process. Keep building cars, man. Don't let anybody stop you. You know, if you're not doing it how good as somebody else says you're supposed to be doing it, well, tell them to build their own car. Go for it. Build your own car. Show me how good you are. Show me how good you are. And we must admit, someone that builds yeah. The more you build, the better you become. We have to all agree with that, wouldn't we? The more you build, the better you become. just trying to do it like a drywaller, one side, one corner at a time, and then once that dries, I can go on and do the other side. I'm hoping that we don't have to. Well, we will. There's places that we're going to have to go over again. Jolene, you want to put some on?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Jolene's going to put some on. We're going to have a cameo. Jolene's going to get in on it. Cameo. All right, just mix up small batches because there's no sense, you know, to mix up big batches. And I'm going to show you before I start.
Okay.
And then you can just give you a heads up. I'm going to mix a batch and show you. I'm going to go to the other side because I'm saying that's probably getting dry over there. So what we're going to do now, see I got this done down along here, and I got the top done. Now it's time to come in here and do this.
Okay.
So I'll show you first. I'll just put a little bit on. Just a little bit. When everybody's sanding on this, Jolene and sanding on this, I'll get back to work on Elvis. Hey? Back and forth a little bit. Keeps things interesting, it does. Plus, it's winter time here. There's nobody going anywhere and driving anything and doing anything like that. So right now is the time to buckle down and do as much as you can. Buckle down, do as much as you can. I'm just gonna, watch this, I'm gonna take a bit off. And I'm gonna stick my squeegee in there, I'm just gonna pull it up. Okay, take a bit off. Pull it up. I'm gonna stay away from that mount for a bit. I'm just gonna go this way and try to smooth it off. You can see how there's not flat there, is it? Fill it up a little bit more. That's going to be a hard one, sweetheart. That's going to be hard when I give you the hardest spot. Just got to make sure we get enough on, that's all. Now I'm just taking rub it in there with my finger because I want to. I don't like that right there, pinhole there. Okay, I'm just going to go down here and put some more on. We'll get around the mounts one at a time. And that way there we can cruise along on this side part, if you know what I'm trying to say. You're getting in around that mount, slow you down. We'll just do those one at a time, probably. Nope, I'm going to go this way and stay this way. I want that hole there. That's what I want. Alrighty. Let's take it over here. I'm going to give you some. I put it on there with my finger because I just wanted in all the pinholes or all the craters. And as you're doing this, remember, probably no one's going to see it. Right? Right? You know what I mean? No one's going to see it. Top side is the side that you generally don't see. All along the top there, we know no one's going to see it because it's going to be, the car's going to be sitting down on top of that. But up here, we will know when we paint it that it looks good. That it's, you know, it's a nice chassis. And the way we're getting a nice chassis is putting work into it. All right, I'm going to turn the camera on you, sweetheart. You just done your nails.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
Huh?
They'll survive.
They'll survive?
Hope so.
Just like you will.
Yeah.
Man, I did a long time yakking, didn't I?
Yeah.
You You only got 10 minutes and we're going to shut this thing down. That's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lots. And the reason being I'm saying that is because, you know, yeah, it's hard to put on a big bunch of filler when you're doing a chassis. Good hard, that's lots of hardener.
Okay.
I don't mean to be like that, but. She can do it all, boys. She can do it all. Can't you, sweetheart?
Try.
Trying.
I've
That's the basis of it, trying.
Mm-hmm.
That's the basis of it, trying. What she's doing is just making sure that all the filler is mixed up and got no color in it. That's all she's making sure of. She'll put it all in a pile and let it scoop off, or just scoop it off, right? And then you can come over here. And what you'll do is you'll just dab some of the filler on the end of your trowel or your squeegee, and you'll put it on. Grab some more. Don't worry about flattening it out. Just put it on. Then you can flatten it out after. Just go slow. There you go. Right on, baby. I might have some competition, boys. That's fine. You can flatten it out later, sweetheart.
Okay.
You get it on there. Then you can play with it.
All right.
That's for everybody. You get it on there and then play with it. If you start playing with it while it's on your tray, and if it goes hard, well, it's not on the car, then is it?
Probably mixed up a little much.
Now, when you're all done, just go push on it gently. Just push on it gently. That way there you're not squeezing it all. See, just a minute now. I said push on it gently, and you're pushing on it too hard. See how you're taking so you can see the metal?
Okay.
Well, you're taking all your fill off. You know what I'm saying? So you just push on it easy, and then your fill stays on your metal. And what I would do is I would drag it back. I would go from that end and drag it back this way. Put a lighter touch on your trowel, because you don't want no metal showing as you're dragged it back. As your metal shows, that means you got no filler to work with. If I could show you, I can't let go of the camera. You got no filler there, right? Mm-hmm. So drag that filler back. No, you want to drag the filler back from the beginning. There. You want to go back there and drag it back. Do the top. Drag that back. It's not fair me being on you in camera, is it? It's not fair. All right, go mix your trowel up again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, because I got dirty fingers, and I'm going to wipe off the access on the chassis. And the reason being is I got dirty fingers. And that way there, it's easier to sand. Good job. It's a hard thing to do is fill out a chassis, and the reason being is because it's just harder.
Is that enough?
Sure. And at any time, like when we put that filler on there, you're allowed to add filler at any time, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're doing an awesome job. It's just getting the filler on the frame is the thing. And that's the basic thing, to get the filler on there without any metal showing. And that way there we know we've got enough filler on at least to sand it. right? Because this does not matter if it's wavy or not. It matters whether there's fill on there, so we can get rid of the pits. So she's just taking some off her squeegee, putting it on, and then she'll play with it. Awesome. She's a fast learner, boys. She was talking about her soccer days last night and how aggressive she was. And she was a competitor. Yeah. Probably most people don't see that about Jolene, but she's a competitor. Hard to see that through the blonde hair and the beautiful smile. Now, what I'm going to say is, I'd strike up where you struck it on there the first time, very first time there, where the metal's showing a little bit. I strike up there a little bit and get it on top of that metal a little bit. Yeah. And I get out of there. Whoa, I get out of there right now. Perfect, beautiful. I'll come along with my finger, wipe off the excess. You can take that off if you want to.
Like where the metal's showing.
Okay. I got your shirt going there. And that's how I take that off. One more?
No, I'm good.
No, she's good.
I think we're at time.
What?
I think we're at time, aren't we?
Okay.
I gotta load it and get going.
All right. So there's a certain amount of time that it takes to load this stuff, and Jolene needs time to load it. So that's what has to go on. There's a lot of things she has to do. So I'll carry on with putting some filler on the chassis. She's going to go do her thing. Thanks for coming on camera, Jolene. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for the good job. We give away a hat or a shirt?
Yep.
Okay, we'll give away a hat or a shirt, and I'll carry on, and you do your thing, I'll do the thing, we'll meet in the middle. Wipe my finger off here. Oh, okay. Is that going to work there? All right, 310 comments?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the time that you spent putting in the comment. That's why we give away a hat or a shirt. I think I explained that yesterday. Dean Andrews, the Bugatti's first ride. When?
He's carrying it in.
Dolly. I got you. Yeah, that was a ride. Jolene did the camera work and did and haul the frame in. She helped me haul it out too. That was quite a day yesterday. I got it all sandblasted, and the reason being is because of the weather that we have here. Now it's time to make it look right. But we appreciate it, Dean Andrews. You get a hold of Jolene, she'll send you a hat or shirt of your choice. And remember, she has nothing to do with the trucking. All right, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.